With the first race in the books, we have already seen the first surprising development in the form of Peter Mikus and an impressive performance to find himself in second place coming out of Phillip Island. Though the hunt for the points leader is already on and it's no one less than serious veteran Michel Dudignon, it would be way too early to make any bold predictions for the championship race this season. The next stepping stone to a successful campaign is the beautifully flowing layout of the Watkins Glen Classic Boot. So join us now as we get ready to watch round 2 of the Grand Prix Legends series live here on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. The crew to give you all these stats and storylines today will be Ryan Walker, joining myself, Stefan Schlacher. Turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes is our director Sean Rex Ambrose, and he's using cameras to provide a better grade, Dougie Beard. Watkins Glen is a historic round for Formula 1, and although the Lotus 49 has never seen this particular layout, or the 49 boasts 3 victories at the original venue at this place. To really get familiar with the nitty-gritty of this place, let's head down trackside for GSRC's own track guide.
Welcome to Watkins Glen International. Situated in upstate New York just south of the Finger Lakes, this track has seen it all. Few road circuits can boast hosting Formula 1, IndyCar, NASCAR, and IMSA during its history. Though it did have a brief fallow period in the early 80s, thanks to the investment of local companies, it's grown into one of the premier road tracks in the U.S. With 4 layouts to choose from that range between 2.5 and 3.5 miles in length, lap times can vary greatly. But it also means it's suitable for lots of different levels of racing, from amateur to pro. The one thing that stays consistent no matter which car and which layout you're using is that Watkins Glen means speed. Many of the straights are very long and the majority of the corners are fast sweepers. Some of them include a surprising amount of banking as well. Combine that with the proximity of the barriers and this historic circuit retains a very old school feel. Drivers in lesser-powered cars can expect drafting battles, while higher-powered machinery will test the skill and bravery of their pilots. Some of the turns are visually iconic, such as the carousel and the S's. Others, like the inner loop, the chute, and turn 9, greatly challenge even the expertly skilled. And of course, we haven't even mentioned the drastic amount of elevation change drivers experience. Between its rich history and popularity among drivers, this track stays busy and seems likely to be that way for a long, long time.
Joe Peak doing what nobody can do better and talking a lap around the famous Watkins Glen circuit. Ryan, what else can you add to what Joe just told us?
Watkins Glen, such an iconic and fantastic track, and one of my favourites on the iRacing service. And just a few facts about the track: it hosts the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship in real life, and also has hosted a whole range of SCCA series as well in real life. And today we'll be using the classic boot layout, and the track has 11 turns, and the length for the track is 3.4 miles or 5.47 kilometers. I prefer to use that. And today, as always, it will be hosting the Grand Prix Legends with this fantastic Lotus 49 car.
Fantastic in very deed, Ryan. Now, as already mentioned, we're on the second round of this season, so obviously the championship standings will reflect exactly that outcome of the first race of the season, and that was won, as already mentioned, by the Frenchman of Michel Dudignon. He's 5 points ahead of Peter Mikus. Rob Olenek 10 points behind, with Sadro finishing 4th place in the race last week, and Ove Trengrid, the Norwegian, right now sitting in 5th place. Ryan, the Formula 2 Championship, we have a few new names in that one. How are we looking for that one?
Yeah, a few new names in the standings for the F2 Championship that we have not really seen before. But at the moment, it's currently being led, I should say, by David Rossi with 277 points, with Robert Plumley a further 25 points behind. Just good to see Plumley having a good season so far, or a good start to the season. And then Brennan Cleveland rounding out the top 3 with 108 points, and then rounding out the rest of the rest of the championship is Colin Coker in 4th, and then in 5th place it's Paul Ferrer.
Yeah, a good start to the season, always very vital, and that is exactly what Robert Plumley did. Now, as always, we have the Nations Cup to round out your championship standings, like they had back in the times they didn't have a Constructor Championship, but a Nations Cup, and that's also what those guys have up here. Obviously, France is leading that one with 50 points. That is actually the standings from last season, where France won that one. But it pretty much reflects the F1 Drivers' Championship, with Slovakia being in 2nd place and Germany in 3rd. So it is not too much different from what you saw from that chart right there. Either way, qualifying is going on right now, and as always, you can see that qualifying and the whole of the Lotus 49 community on the iRacing Esports Network. Make sure to like and especially subscribe if you haven't done so yet. You'll know for sure if you haven't, as that button right below this broadcast will still be bright red. In this race, we also have maybe a few new viewers. Ryan, how are we looking for those race details?
So yeah, some basic information about the series and the race detail, or the race details for this series, I should say, for anyone that's tuning in for the first time or isn't sure how it goes. This is the second round of the 12-round season, and the race length for today at Watkins Glen will be 20 laps. And as always, the setup for this series is open, so if you want to make any basic adjustments, be it tyre pressures, camber, ride height, suspension, anything like that, then you are free to do so. And the incident limit will be 17x, so if you get to 17x, you will get a penalty, and if you go over that, you will be automatically disqualified.
And Ryan, I would say the track like Watkins Glen, where in the Lotus 49 there aren't that many passing opportunities, as over train grade goes to the pole right now, displacing Robotnik with a 43.2. Qualifying has a special emphasis because it already sets quite a big stepping stone to a successful Grand Prix.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Watkins Glen. It's one of those tracks that it's great fun to race around, but trying to get by people is really difficult. I mean, the only places that I can think of that you can make a move is either on the home straight that we're coming on to now, on board with Roman Pawlowski, and or even the long run up through the S's heading down to the chicane. You can try and make a move there, but it's kind of, you've got to be really, really close, and it requires the other driver to cooperate.
Yeah, in Verdi, Roman Pawlowski wasn't able to get in a better lap time. Peter Mikos also had a few mistakes on his lap. Right now sitting in 8th place. He might still be able to get in a faster lap. No, not this time around. A 44.5 for him. So he continues to sit in 8th place. And now we want to give you a little message from the Grand Prix Legends community. They would like to kindly ask you, the Lotus 49 fans, for a donation into their broadcast fund. If you'd like to find out more about these donations or their broadcast fund, please have a look into the description of this broadcast. Every dollar counts. The Lotus 49 community thanks you for considering a donation, and they also thank everyone that has already donated into their broadcast fund. As Antonio Rees comes over the finish line with a 46.664. That wasn't faster, so he continues to sit in 9th place.
As Heideko Cavisto comes across the line to complete his lap, he does a 46.5, but he doesn't improve.
Yeah, he did put in a faster lap time by about 5/10, but it wasn't good enough to put him any further up the road. So he is still in 21st. Hideki, obviously one of those classic car specialists coming over from the Camel GT series to have a go in the Lotus 49's Thomas Top, makes his way into turn 1. He is sitting right now in 18th place. He's also one of the new drivers that we see in today's race, which has, by the way, 36 drivers on the grid today. So we will have to speed a little bit more through this grid than we usually do. Overtrain is sitting on top of the grid. He is the pole sitter for this one ahead of Rob Olenek. Only about 1/10 separates those two, with Michel Dudin already sitting 2/10 behind Rob Olenek in third place. Bill Tyler, a strong performance from him in qualifying. He is sitting in fourth place with Roman Paslowski in fifth. Bruce Nelson in sixth. Nikola Kochi will be lining up in seventh place with Peter Mikus, second place driver of the championship, only in 8th place. Antonio Rees 9th, and David Rossi rounds up your top 10 of the grid.
Starting at 11 from row 6 is Gary Teal. Alongside him is Chris Maragami in 12th. And row 7 we've got Alessandro Parigi in 13th, and alongside him is Fabrizio Missani. Hopefully I said that right. 15th is Sebastian Tixia, and alongside him in 16th is Michael Cook. 17th is Paolo Brem. 18th is Thomas Torp, 19th is Bob Ferrer, and alongside him in 20th is iRacing just crashed me. So if you could take away Steph, as iRacing just crashed me.
Yeah, on the next page we have Robert Plumley at 31st, with Donald Peake 32nd. Gary Anderson, Chesney Beach, Robert Reynolds, and Victor Garçon are rounding out your 36 car field. We still have a few that need to find their way onto the grid. Most notably Gary Teal sitting in 11th place. There he is now on the grid. I think that should be pretty much everyone. Yes, indeed, the engines are starting to harmonize, and we are green. Great start from Overtrain Grid, but an even better start from Michel Daniel. Third place is already starting to attack the second place of Rob Olenek. He's on the inside of the 90. This should give him a great run through here and into the S's, and indeed he is up to second place. The Frenchman already trying to make his second move on Overtrain Grid, at least trying to prepare that, but he is very slow through the S's. That doesn't give him a very great run. So far, everyone single file, no issues I have seen thus far. The top three already starting to separate a little bit from Roman Paslowski, who had not the best starts, but still good enough to sort of keep in touch with them as they, for the very first time, head into the carousel. There's someone going super wide. Who is that? That's Bill Tyler. That's not going to help him very much. He loses about 4 or 5 places, and he finds himself now suddenly just outside of the top 15. Bruce Nelson is trying to make a move on Peter Mikus. Actually, it's the other way around. Peter Mikus trying to make a move on Bruce Nelson, sorry. He's now into 6th place, and Nelson spins behind. Everybody able to avoid him. That's good news for everybody. That is, though, a lot of cars that now get stacked up behind him. That creates a lot of 2 wide action there. And nearly even 3 wide, actually 3 wide with Sebastian Tixia going into the inside. That's a little bit of carnage there with people touching wheels, but everyone's still able to keep it on the track.
Yep, there's further down in the park as well. This battle for P12, P13 and P14 is going on, and it looks like everyone's trying to take everyone's take. Oh, Marakawa's got issue.
Yeah, great save by Murakami there. He had some issues through the penultimate turn. Now also David Rossi with a little bit of issues. This is all still happening because of the issues from Bruce Nelson. As everybody still is quite stacked up in that midfield. Now Alessandro Parigi nearly runs into the back of Snelson as we head back up to the front, but Michel Dudino has overtaken now also Overtrain Grid into turn 1. So Overtrain Grid now in second place with Michel Dudino in first. The Frenchman leading the first time down the backstretch. The draft comes into play for Overtrain Grid, but not enough, wasn't close enough to do anything into the carousel, which is a little bit of a passing opportunity because we don't have the in-loop anymore on this classic layout.
Absolutely. It looks like I think Overtrain Grid was trying to make a move for the lead, but I don't think he's been able to take it. But at the moment, it's still Dudu on leading with Train Grid in second and Olenek close behind them in third. And just further behind them is Robin Paslowski.
The mid-pack is now also starting to slowly spread apart after the mishaps from Bruce Nelson. They are starting to spread out. Peter Mikus already on the back of Nikola Koch as we ride on board with Overtrain Grid, sitting in third place. Actually, sorry, we are on board with we were with Overtrain Grid. My bad. Rob Olenek in third place. As always, over Trangrid a little bit on the sawing side on his wheel because of how he likes to set up his car very loose, but that's just how the Norwegian likes his stuff. Peter Mikus with a little bit of a mistake through the penultimate lap. Corner, sorry. So he's not going to be able to do anything on Nicola Kochi for that 5th place. But we have to say that these guys are handling very well that very hot track temperature of 40 degrees Celsius that we have right now. There you can see it on your screen. That's in Fahrenheit, 104 Fahrenheit. Ryan, I wouldn't like to drive this car in these conditions.
Yeah, I've done some races in these conditions before.
Sorry, Ryan. Overtranger is right now side by side with Michel Tudino going through the carousel for the lead. Michel Tudino on the inside. He's able to hold that 4th place. Overtranger it has to slot in once again, but Michel Tudino Overtranger it very slideways through the turn. That opens up the gap for Rob Olenek. He's going to be on the outside for the 2. Let's see if he's able to do anything with the concrete. No, he has to slot in behind because he outbraked himself. He has a better run out of the turn, but has to be boxed in by Overtranger. Let's see if he's able to do anything into the heel. No, he has to stick behind one more time.
Yep, and while this battle was going on, on the straight in the background, Chris Murakami unfortunately had issues and went flying in the background. They unfortunately fell back down to about P32, but back up at the front, these guys are still battling away. And at the moment, it's still, by the looks of it, looks like it's still Michel Dunion leading this race.
Michel Dunion leading, but the 2 are right behind him. Overtranger and Rob Olenek really being in the shadow right now of Michel Dudinot, who is leading into the 4th lap of this race. So only just a few more laps to go, only 17 laps to go, and they are already done. Roman Pawlowski starting to get close to them. You can see him, that 4th car in line is the German of Roman Pawlowski. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like these guys are starting to fight a little bit too much. Like even Nicola Kochi last lap was quite a bit faster than those guys. As once again Overtranger tries to go around the outside of Michel Dudinot. Through the carousel they go. Michel Dudinot right on that curb. That gives him quite a bit of a boost on the grip level. So he's able to defend that 1st place once again from Overtranger as they head into the chute. Or Rob Olenek tries to go around the outside, but he has a little bit of a slide, so he has to stick behind, and that allows Roman Pawlowski to get even closer.
Yeah, I'm just looking further through the pack as well, just to see if there's any other battles going on at the moment. It looks like Peter Mikus and Antonio Reyes are relatively close together.
Oh, a little bit of a mistake from Overtranger into the heel. He goes sideways out of it because he hit the curb way too much. That you really don't want to do with these old school curbs. Very steep, very narrow. Really can unsettle your car like Overtranger just experienced. Goes a little bit wide also through the penultimate turn of this lap. A little bit on the grass on the entrance for the last corner. That gives him though a very good run through it, and Rob Olenek still can't do anything. But right now it seems like Rob Olenek much more settled in his car in these hot temperatures.
Yep, absolutely. As I think some of these drivers, just watching the attitude of the car, it seems to be some of these drivers will set the car up for possibly these hot track temperatures.
As the top 3 span out a little bit, we're going to go back a little bit into the midst of the field. That's for P number 12, Paul Ferrer, leading a train that consists of Paolo Brem, Dicky Koivisto, Thomas Torp, Daniel Neumann, and I would also count Fabrizio Mazzani into that. So all the way down to 17th place. Actually, Brent Cleveland also not too far behind, so this goes all the way down to 18th place with Dicky Koivisto having a little bit of a look to the inside. Paolo Brem with a little bit of a mistake through that carousel, probably because of that, looking a little bit too much into his mirrors. As they bunch up together once again going through the chute. Maybe we see something from Thomas Torp. He goes to the inside of Dicky Koivisto, but He has to brake quite early. Probably not as confident yet on the Lotus 49. Brakes as he goes super wide, takes it too early. Apex, that opens the door for Daniel Neumann. They're side by side going down the sole of the boot. But Neumann braking even earlier than Thomas Torp. So also that pass is not going to happen right now. Back up to the front, leaving this battle train. It's still Michel Tedinho leading everyone, with Rob Olenek now posting the fastest lap of the race. By the way, one thing we have to say is only 25 drivers remain in this race. We've only lost 11 drivers in today's race, so the attrition, probably also because of the 40 degrees Celsius on the track, is quite high.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate some of these drivers have not really done any practice in these hot track temperatures, but back up at the front we've still got this battle for the lead going on between Dudion and Trengrade and Olenek, and not far behind either is Pawlowski.
P number 7, another battle pack we have forming there. That is behind Bruce Nelson, with Bill Tyler and Antonio Rees, as Nelson makes a big mistake through the chute. But Bill Tyler too far away from that.
Absolutely. Oops, sorry, Steph.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, I was watching that battle for P7 for quite some time, and it's been hot and hot for a while. And again, the Lotus 49 proving that why it's such a great series, because wherever you look, there's always great racing and close battles going on.
Yeah, another mistake by Bruce Nelson. Now side by side, maybe. No, Bill Tyler decides to go out of that. Bruce Nelson most definitely fighting very hard with his car and the track temperature, not liking those 40 degrees on the track. Bill Tyler likes them a little bit more. Also, he is starting to slide on his tires. Very old school tires, not as old school as the Lotus 49 used to run. But still a very old school treaded tires. Bill Tyler has a good setup through the 9T. Let's see if he can do something through the S's. Looks a little bit slower right now than Bruce Nelson, but it is so much more about his left-hander than the right-hander. But it didn't really pay off for Bill Tyler, as Bruce Nelson is able to slowly creak away a little bit and open that gap to Bill Tyler. So Bill Tyler not able to do anything into the carousel.
Yeah, the battle for P13 is starting to get pretty hot as well, between Paolo Brem.
So up in the front we have Ovi Trengrade being attacked by Rob Olenek. Rob Olenek trying to look left, trying to look right, but it's not paying off for him right now. Now he looks to the right once again. The outbreaks Ovi Trengrade. That's not something he can do very easily. Rob Olenek, though, he keeps it on the apex. Ovi Trengrade has to go around the outside, and that's not going to be able to defend his position. So Rob Olenek finally back up to second place. Let's see if he's able to attack the Frenchman without making a mistake. Hits the wall. He's spun around. That's not going to help him very much. Now he has to wait a very long time. Has to get past two cars. The next train comes already with Bruce Nelson. He has to wait once again. That's a very long stop for him. Now he's able to go again. And that is a lot of damage to the Norwegian's car.
Yeah, just looking at the replay now, and that was unfortunate for Ovi. I think he might have just gotten the power too much, or gave it too much throttle and just got sideways, and yeah, he just lost the rear into the wall he went, and he was just a passenger from there on in.
Yeah, that just is the combination of the hot track and the setups that Ovi Trengrade likes to do. Now we're gonna have that look back to the P13 find. It actually is starting to be about P11, with a few drivers making mistakes ahead of them. They have been able to gain a position, namely obviously because of Ovi Trengrade. So let's see if Paolo Brem is able to do anything. If he is not able to do anything, Hideki Koivisto and Thomas Torp are waiting right behind. Also Fabrizio Maisani just in the tracks of Thomas Torp, looking to the right side. That's 2 by 2, not going to happen. With Hideki Kovista going out of the throttle quite early. Paulo Brem sideways for him. He's able to catch that. Paul Ferreira up ahead goes super wide at the exit of the carousel. It's not going to help him. Paulo Brem right in the track of that Iberian up ahead of him. Paul Ferreira versus Paulo Brem. It's an Italian versus an Iberian. Who is going to keep that ahead? We also think that Bruce Nelson had a mistake or some issues there, Ryan. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, issues for Snelson. Just look at the replay now to see what happened to him, and it looks like he might have just he went offline and just caught the grass and had a spin, slightly grazed the wall, but nothing major. Managed to keep going and get on.
Yeah, and Ryan, that is quite an easy mistake to do. You would be surprised how easy it is.
Yes, it's what as a battle between Kuchi and Mikos is going on at the moment for P4, and Peter Mikos has been one of those drivers that he improved a lot towards the end of last season, and again he's shown his good form at the start of this season as well. So good to see Peter having a good run up at the front.
Though one thing we have to mention is that Peter Mikos, from the performance of last week, has fallen off quite a bit, already about 7 seconds behind your leader of Michel Dunion. So it's not going to really help his cause right now in the early stages of this championship, as Nicola Kochi goes a little bit wide. Once again, looking back to that P12.5 for Fabrizio Mazzani, a little bit sideways through the carousel. Thomas Torp not able to do anything with that, decides to stick behind, just in case something happens with Fabrizio. He's able to save his car though, as they now head into the chute. Hideki Kovista looking very racy for that 12th position, though his exit of the chute not too good. 2 cars ahead, they'll go very wide through the toe. Maybe that opens something up for him. No, doesn't seem like so. Also, Hideki Kovista, one of the cars struggling with the very hot track.
Yeah, it seems to be he might have it could be something simple. Is the battle for the leads going on again?
Yeah, once again, Michel Dudino versus Rob Olenek. Rob Olenek most definitely looking right now like the faster car. He proves that with putting in the faster lap of the race. 9.65 for him. That is the first lap, I think, under the 43-second mark. Let's see if he's able to already do something with his speed he has over Michel Dudino. The draft comes in. Michel Dudino is on the middle of the track though, so Rob Olenek decides to stick behind for at least another lap. Through the carousel they had for the 10th time of this race, about halfway through the race. Rob Olenek looking a little bit sideways, and he has to catch his car, opens up the gap a little bit to Michel Dudino, but Dudino also not looking too good right now in these hot conditions.
Yeah, there's the battle between Brem and Corvisto's Corvisto, I should say, is still going on at the moment. This battle's been going on for quite a few laps, and just in front of them they've got a couple of other cars as well, so this pack could be getting bigger within the next lap or two.
This is all about the battle for P11 ultimately, with still is being led by Paul Ferrer, although he is looking to get more and more understeery as the race goes on. Same with Paolo Brem, so those 2 guys are really not too safe out of Hideki Kovista, who he is now under attack from Fabrizio Mazzani, who we're on board. Starting in 14th place, he's trying to make that one up. That's not going to work for him. He goes super wide, outbrakes himself, keeps it on the tarmac though, but he is once again behind Hideki Kovista. He gets run into the back by Thomas Torp. Those 2 keep though out of their gearbox respectively, so everyone still continues on their way around the Watkins Glen Classic Boot.
Yep, and I've just watched it back up at the front as well. It looks like the gap between Dudion and Olenek is increased slightly. As the battle between Kochi and Mikos is on again, and going down the straight into the carousel. It looks like Mikas tries to go around the outside, but he can't get it done, so he has to tuck back in behind and wait for a few more corners.
Eyes wide open for Peter Mikus, looking at the apex, looking at his competitor, but Nikola Kochi is still not rattled by the death views of Peter Mikus. He wants to get him into a mistake, but the Italian still able to keep everything together up ahead, though. Rob Olenek, also the same kind of thing happening for those two. Michel Dineo still able to keep his car ahead, though he's looking more and more understeery, more and more slidey. I don't think Michel Dineo, the Frenchman, is able to keep the American too much longer behind him.
Yeah, Rob just seems to be slightly quicker at the moment, judging by his lap times. Rob misses apex a little bit in the final corner, but he still manages to get a decent run on the exit and get a run on Michel, but he can't make a move into turn one.
Not into turn one. He also doesn't get as good of a launch out of the 90 as Michel Dineo ahead of him. But let's see how they are able to take the S's. Looks like Rob Olenek a little bit faster through that, but only on the first part, with Michel Dineo really able to set up the second part, and thus once again streaks away slightly, so that Rob Olenek not able to do anything into the carousel. Rome Pawlowski in the meantime, third place for him. He really hasn't been able to go the speed that the first two are going, already about 3.5 seconds behind those two at the front.
Yep, and yeah, again, I'm just looking at this battle for P4 between Kochi and Nikas. It doesn't seem to be settling down anytime soon, but apart from that, I can't really see any other battles apart from the one further down in the midfield for P11.
Yeah, they're right now side by side for P14. Thomas Torp versus Hideki Koivisto. Thomas Torp on the inside there. You can see it on your screens. Thomas Torp able to get that position away, though he goes very wide through the middle of the carousel. Maybe that opens the gap for Hideki Koivisto, and so it does indeed. Hideki Koivisto once again back into 14th place.
Yeah, that was a nice move by
Parigi in behind. He gets sideways through the chute. David Rossi tries to avoid him on the inside. They're both able to keep their cars together, so they continue to race in 16th and 17th as we take you on the replay.
Yeah, just look at the replay now to see what happened, and it looks like he might have just lost it. Oh, he loses it under braking, and I don't know about you, Steph, but that was a fantastic save.
Yeah, great save by both drivers, who were able to see that David Rossi, also a little bit of a slide right there, tries to keep that all together. He's able to do so, keep out of the car of Parigi. So both continue to race. There they are, the number 17 and 18 respectively. Going back up though for that first place once again, it is between Rob Olenek and Michel Dineo. Michel Dineo once again defensively into the carousel, keeps it all the way to the inside. Rob Olenek not able to do anything, who's looking right now over the shoulder of Robert Reynolds, a lap car just ahead of him. You're able to see him quite nicely there on the onboards of Rob Olenek. Hopefully he's able to get quite nicely out of the way and doesn't disturb this battle as Rob Olenek creeps closer and closer to the gearbox of that French driver.
Yep, as the back marker moves out the way real early, allows these two guys through. And again, it looks like Rob is a slightly quicker driver at the moment. He seems to be slightly quicker than Michel, but he doesn't seem to be able to get by. So, but again, on the other hand, it's great defensive driving by Michel at the moment, which is fantastic to watch.
Yeah, the Frenchman always one that is exquisite in defending his places. Oh, it's hard to get around as another back marker comes into play. That is Jasmine Beach. Sticks to the very left side of the track, and both are unharmed by that back marker. So once again, Rob Olenek on the attack, going through the 90. This time he gets a very good launch out of the corner, is closer than we have seen him in previous attempts. Let's see how he's able to go through the S's to the left. Now, oh, that's a little bit sideways for Rob Olenek. Had to get off the throttle a little bit. So I don't think he's going to be there going into the carousel, but let's have a look. The draft is very strong in this car, but no, it's not enough for Rob Olenek.
Yep, as Rob takes a sneaky look up the inside, just tries to show Michelle he's there, but Michelle again, they defend him brilliantly and just doing everything he can to keep Rob behind as Rob closes up slightly under braking.
Yeah, Rob Olenek much stronger right now under braking than Michel Didinot. There we go once again. He actually goes a little bit side by side with the Frenchman going into the toe. He's able to get a good launch out of the toe. This might be the best chance that we've seen from Rob Olenek. Michel Didinot goes very early on the defensive part into the heel. They're side by side now. Rob Olenek on the outside. Little bit of a slide from Michel Didinot that should seal the deal. No, he's also sideways. Oh, they nearly touched. Rob Olenek still side by side with Michel Didinot. Rob Olenek goes a little bit too deep into the connection back onto the original layout of Watkins there, but he's able to seal the deal. Rob Olenek up into first place.
Well, that was a bit of a guessing it was a bit of a heart and mouth moment for both of these guys, but luckily they managed to both survive and Rob Olenek up into the lead. Now it'll be interesting to see if he can pull away from Michelle and try and build up a bit of a gap. But with this long straight, coming up after as Rob gets sideways into turn one, with this run up through the S's up into the straight, it may give Michelle a chance to stick with him.
Yeah, he is able to be much better through the S's, keeps a lot more speed up than Rob Olenek. That might be down to the lines that he is taking once again. Look at that speed Michel Didinot has over Rob Olenek. Already side by side they go. Not gonna go through the chicane because they don't have to. This is the classic layout. It's a full straight of stretch here. And Michel Didinot once again on the inside at the carousel. Rob Olenek tries to hold his position, but no, the Frenchman comes out on top out of the carousel. So Michel Didinot once again in first place. Rob Olenek tries to attack right away once again. Through the chute they go. But it's not going to prevail for him. So he has to stick behind once again in second place.
And the battle for P4 as well. I've just been keeping an eye on that as Olenek gets a bit sideways on the exit. The battle for P4. Mikus is up into P4 and Kochi is fell back down to P5.
Rob Olenek side by side once again through the hill, this time a little bit later than he wanted to be side by side with Michel Didinot, so he's not going to be able to do anything right now. Tries to set up the exit once again off the... Oh, shortcut didn't touch! Rob Olenek touches the bag of Michel Didinot. Michel Didinot gets loose because of that, and they change places. Once again, Rob Olenek now into first place. That wasn't the cleanest move, but I think it was aided a little bit by netcode. Let's see if Rob Olenek feels guilty about that one. He is a little bit slower on the straight. Michel Didinot tucks to the right side. Inside for the 90 degree. Lap number 16. They have just started. Michel Didinot tries to take back that first place immediately, but they're still side by side going through the S's. That's the first time we have seen them go side by side through that. Rob Olenek on the left side gets closed down by Michel Didinot. Michel Didinot once again into first place he goes.
Yeah, that was a bit of a risky move by Michel, but luckily it paid off and he retakes the lead and is pulling away slightly from Rob Olenek, who lost a bit of speed through the S's due to trying to go side by side. But Watson Rob under brake and he seems to be able to close that gap back up.
They are already on only 5 laps to go, 4.5 if you count the track length. As it seems like Fabrizio just had a problem. Let's have a look at what happened there. Number 13. Oh my goodness, what happened there? What happened to the Italian in that one? That looked super weird. He already has damage. Yeah, he already has damage and then the car just takes a left turn. That actually started on the shortcut already with him losing the car. Then he gets run into by Paolo Brem. So that explains the damage, and then I think just because of the loads that he had to take there, that is why he had that strange accident of himself. Back up front though, Michel Didinot still leads this race with 4 laps to go ahead of Rob Olenek and third place Ron Paslowski. Now only, let's see, right over the stripe, 4.936 seconds behind. So even though those two are fighting very hard, they are not able to get reeled in by Roman Paslowski in third place.
Yeah, Robin. The battle between the battle between Brem and Prix is going on at the moment.
Alessandro Parisi just got by Paolo Brem this lap. We think it happened through the heel. Let's have a look. There we go. They're going through the sole straight right now. Paolo Brem, being the car from the 19, that just outbrakes himself quite heavily, and that gave the position away to Alessandro Parisi, who he is now in P number 12. Up front once again, Rob Olenek tried to make a little bit of a dive bomb into the toe. It didn't really work for him as he had to go around the outside of Michel Dudino, but it did set him up for the exit out of the toe into the heel. Though too far away from that little bit of a mistake, so he has to stick once again behind in second place.
And I'm just watching Olenek at the moment. That was a bit of a squeaky moment. Both of these guys are still going at it, and they come across the line. It'll be 3 laps to go next. 3 laps to go next time by, or as they come across the line, as I try and get my words right. But this battle has been going on for basically most of the race, and I think if I was Olenek, I would try and maybe just sit behind for maybe the last 2 laps or so.
Yeah, first it was Trangrade, now it is Rob Olenek, and Rob Olenek really did bring the heat to this battle, but Trangrade wasn't really able to do too much, probably because of his setup sliding too much with his car over this hot track. By the way, during this race the track has really cooled down by about 2 degrees Celsius, so that doesn't sound like too much, but actually 40 lows for the 9s, it is quite a lot as Michel Dudino takes a very big slide through the carousel. He's able to keep his car together though, as the Frenchman continues to lead ahead of Rob Olenek. Thomas Torp trying to do something into the first turn on Paolo Brem. Brem able to brake later though, if he's able also to keep his car on the apex as he is, he might be able to get a very good launch out of the turn. And Thomas Torp not able to do anything. Very, very understeery for Thomas Torp. It's not something you see very often in the Lotus 49. Takes a little bit too much grass through the S's. That might give something to David Rossi. Let's see if he's able to take that battle to the 14th place. Driver goes to the right side. David Rossi is. Brakes later into the carousel. Keeps his car on the apex. Thus, he's able to take away 14th place. And 13th, Paolo Brem, just ahead. Back to the lead we go as they lap Osmar Schulz. The German driver goes a lap down in 31st. That means he is now 12 laps down in total. Rob Olenek looking very racy about that first place. And I don't know, Ryan, going into the last lap, where would you want to be? Would you want to be ahead, or would you want to be in behind and take that battle through the carousel and maybe try to be able to sneak that away through the booth?
It's a difficult situation to be in. I mean, if I was the person in second, I would prefer to sit behind. But in a racer's mind, you want to be in front, possibly going on to the last lap as well. But being the car behind, you've got the better advantage because you've got the slipstream. Oh, Jesus!
Side by side yet again, Rob Olenek with a mistake from Michel Dudino. He's not able to do anything through the chute though, so he has to stick behind yet again. But it is looking more and more like Rob Olenek most definitely has the better car under his buttocks right now, as we are on board with Rob Olenek looking over his right shoulder. Rob Olenek looking a little bit more stable in his setup right now than Michel Dudino, though they are lapping pretty much the same laps as Michel Dudino. Once again a little bit sideways out of the shortcut, keeps his car together, going into the penultimate corner, a little bit sideways from both of them. That's not something you should be quite wary about. Rob Olenek tries to do a little bit of dive bomb into the last turn. That doesn't give him the line he wanted, so he has to stay behind though. It also compromised Michel Dudino as they head into the last lap, side by side, once again going into the first turn. Rob Olenek on the outside, Michel Dudino on the inside. They're side by side still. That doesn't give the preferred line to Rob Olenek. He has to stick behind. This might be one of the best chances we have seen from Rob Olenek to take that first place away as they head through the S's. He's very close behind the Frenchman of Michel Dudinot, who is still leading this race after all those laps. Goes to the left side by side for the lead they are now. Who is going to prevail? Rob Olenek is able to break later into the carousel. He has the outside line, maybe boxes in Michel Dudinot a little bit. No, he isn't. Michel Dudinot gets enough room to go out to the outside, boxes in Rob Olenek. Both outbreak themselves into the chute. Rob Olenek goes past into the lead of Michel Dudinot. Last lap pass for the lead. Is he able to keep this together? That will be a huge step to the right side of the direction for the point standings. Rob Olenek out of the hole.
Yeah,
He's able to keep his car together. Sorry, Ryan. Michel Dudinot in second place. Little bit of a slide for Rob Olenek through the heel. They have a lap car coming up. That tunnel peak shouldn't be a problem for them as they head through the shortcut one last time. Rob Olenek keeps his car together ahead of the Frenchman. If he's able to just go through these last two turns, he will be victorious here at Watkins Glen. Rob Olenek through the last turn. He goes perfectly smooth. Rob Olenek is your winner here at Watkins Glen for the Grand Prix Legends Series Round 2.
And Roman Paslowski's he's coming across the line to finish to round out the podium, and behind him will be the battle for P13 is still going on at the moment. Oh, look at this! This pack of cars is going on. This battle for P13 is going on. This is between Tort, Bren, Rossi, and Evans. Rossi. Sorry, there's so much going on. I'm trying to keep up, but this battle is fantastic.
Paolo Brem had to concede that place to Thomas Top. The first time we see him in this race, and he's already up to 13th place. Paolo Brem tries to do something into the shortcut, not able to do anything there. Maybe he's able to create something through the last turn. Let's have a look. The Iberian nearly gets pressured by David Rossi, who makes a mistake in behind. That moves Hideki Koivisto and Sebastian Tixier up a position. Thomas Tob will be coming away with 13th place ahead of Paolo Brem, Hideki Koivisto, Sebastian Tixier, and David Rossi only finishes in 18th place. Actually, that was a 16th place for David Rossi. But now we really have to take a breather here, but we will be quickly back for post-race show, where we will run you down the unofficial finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and close off an eventful race. So don't step away too far as GSRC will be back after these messages. We welcome you all back to virtual New York, and with that to the Grand Prix Legends post-race show streaming to your home on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. Rob Olenek, what a fight it was between him and Michel Dudinot, finally coming away with the victory on the very last lap going into the carousel. He was able to sneak that win away ahead of Michel Dudinot. Rome Paslowski looking a little bit off color to his normal pace. 6.6 seconds was he away from the victory today, with Peter Mikus another 14.7 seconds in 4th place away from your first place finisher Rob Olenek. Nicola Koji, 5th place for him. Bill Tyler finishes in 6th place ahead of Antonio Rees. Then once again quite the gap between Rees and Gary Thiel, with Bruce Nelson in 9th. Eric Luco rounds out your top 10 here today.
Finishing in 11th was Paul Ferrer, 12th was Alessandro Parigi, 13th was Thomas Torp, 14th was Paolo Brent, 15th was Hideki Koivisto, 16th was David Rossi, 17th was Brennan Cleveland, Robert Plumley finished in 18th, 19th was Andreas Bruno, and finishing in 20th, and 1 lap behind was Rodney Eder, as I messed up.
Yeah, big field, and a lot of cars are wrecked or just a lap down, with 21st Gary Anderson, Robert Reynolds, Fabrizio Massani in 23rd, 24th went to Sebastian Tixier, Colin Coker 25th, and we're gonna run the rest of the guys through your screen right now, because we already have Rob Olenek here with us today. Rob, what a fight it was, and yeah, finally you found something to tame the wild Frenchman.
Yeah, that was a tough race. I think that was probably one of my most enjoyable races I've ever done in iRacing. Man, every time I had a chance and I got a little ahead, he just took it right back. I was like, holy crap, this one's going to be a tough one. But it was fun. We were super close the whole race. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, not only you and Michel were close, but also over Trengrid had quite to say in that battle in the early laps until he made his mistake. Talk us through your battle with first over Trengrid. It looked like it was a little bit easier to get past over Trengrid than at the very end against Michel Dudinot.
I think with the three of us together, it slowed all three of us down a little. So me being in the back, it just kept making it look like there was lots of opportunities. But I was trying to set stuff up, and I really did need to wait for Uwe to make a little mistake or something for me to be able to get by. That's how that one happened. And I don't know what happened behind. I think he might have just lost the rear a little bit or something. I thought he'd be right back with us. Michelle, I don't know. I struggled making the set. I've been really sick all week. I didn't get in the car till before Friday's last night's race late. Setup felt like crap. Got up early this morning and tried to figure out how to fix it, and it wasn't maybe half an hour before the race started where it finally started feeling good, and I was like, maybe this will actually go pretty decent today. So I thought it felt good out there.
Yeah, and decent it went, to say the very least. Now we had two racetracks that are very fast, to have quite a lot of fast turns, or rather medium speed turns. But we're gonna go next time around to Donington National. Quite the pace difference there. How are you looking forward to that racetrack?
I like Donington National. I haven't raced as much. It's going to be fun. There'll be a lot of laps. I guarantee that. It's a pretty short lap. I like all the tracks that we don't get to visit as often. It doesn't even matter what the track is. It's fun to go to something different. That it just feels like a treat whenever you get to go drive something else. That one will be fun. I'm sure there will be plenty of really good battling there too. I mean, that track tends to keep people close together too.
That it does just like we saw here with Watkins Glen today. Rob, once again, congrats on your first place finish, and yeah, go get better.
Yeah, all right. See you guys later. Thanks a lot.
That was Rob Olenek, your victorious driver here today. Ryan, we have seen quite a battle throughout the field today. What are your final thoughts on today's race, as it seems like nobody wants to talk to us?
That race was, in a way, it wasn't the most exciting race, but on the other hand, we had a battle for the lead that went right down to the last lap, and it looked like Michel de Dion was going to hold on for the win, but Rob Olenek succeeded in pressurising him into the mistake, and Michel made a mistake. Rob pounced and took the lead and went on to win. A well-deserved one, I have to say.
One mistake was all it took. Now, we have to have a few plugs here right now. Obviously, we have right now the 24-hour series esports season finale, the 12 hours of Barcelona going right now on here also on IESN. Go check that out if you like to see some more racing. We also have the Camel GT series over on our own YouTube channel at GSRC. That one starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we also will have the IMSA at Sebring. That is going to go down with a lot of IMSA drivers here on iRacing. Also the iRacing Esports Network. That is going to go live on 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And then tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSRC channel, we will have the Bootleg series going around the clock with their KNN car. Once again, that's going to start at 9 p.m. Eastern over at our GSRC YouTube channel. Now, as always, GSRC would like to thank the iRacing Esports Network for having us on the talent lineup to bring you the greatest shows on iRacing into your home. Make sure to like and subscribe to that channel if you haven't done so yet. On top of that, we'd like to thank everyone on the track today for a great show, and especially the Lotus 49 community for contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Right now on your screen, you can see all of the companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to Chula Launch, who provides us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter with @GSRChannel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, on Instagram at GSRC_RAM. All of the upcoming races for our other series are now starting across your screen, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Sean, Ryan and Dougie, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Rob Olenek took away the victory here in Watkins, Glen. With that said, until next time, Sebas and sayonara! And as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.